All right, welcome back, everybody. We had said a bit earlier that we were going to be joined by the EFF spokesperson, Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. Unfortunately, he was unable to access our parliamentary studios, just needing identification, and unfortunately he couldn't get in. So he's had to turn around, go home, and hopefully he will get back, but I'm not too sure that's going to happen in the traffic there in Cape Town. But so we'll put that interview on hold and hope we'll be able to get to it at a later stage. But what we do have for you right now is this issue. Yesterday, the Democratic Alliance held a press conference on the party's decision to institute disciplinary measures against former leader Helen Zille. This follows the comments made by Zille on Twitter that not all was bad under colonialism and there was some good that came out of it. DA leader Mmusi Maimane said going ahead with the disciplinary was a difficult decision, but a unanimous one. Meanwhile, last week, the DA also announced its decision to table a motion of no confidence against President Jacob Zuma. DA Member of Parliament, Phumzile van Damme, joins us from our parliamentary studios to discuss all of these issues and more. Phumzile, welcome. Good to have you here on Morning Live.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you so much for having me, Leanne.
Talk to us about what happened yesterday. So we saw a press conference, DA leader Mmusi Maimane saying that it was a difficult decision, but a decision nonetheless that's been taken to implement these disciplinary actions against Helen Zille. Talk to us about this.
Yes, yesterday the DA's Federal Executive met to consider a report by our Federal Legal Commission, which had been asked to investigate whether there's a case, from those tweets, whether there's a case for a disciplinary inquiry. Just to give you a little bit of context, the Federal Executive is comprised of the DA's leader, of the DA's Federal Chairperson of Federal Council, which is James Self, the party's chairperson, provincial leaders, and leaders of our ancillary bodies. So that body met yesterday to consider that report, and that body made the decision that there's grounds for a disciplinary inquiry.
Yeah. All right. So what is the disciplinary meant to establish?
Well, the disciplinary is meant to establish, so from the report of the Federal Legal Commission Chair, there appears to be a violation of our social media policy and the party's constitution by Ms. Helen Zille. So the disciplinary inquiry will look into this, see whether it did indeed do that, whether the party's been brought into disrepute, and then decide on a sanction. Following that process, that report will again be tabled to the Federal Executive, who can decide to either agree with the sanction that the FLC has decided on, or lower or increase it.
When we talk about this disciplinary, how long does it take? What is the timeline during a process like this?
Well, in terms of the party's rules, now that the process has been completed with the Federal Executive, the disciplinary inquiry needs to commence within 5 days. Obviously, we and the leader wants this matter to be dealt with quite speedily. So, I mean, given that the FLC has quite a large caseload, they'll do their best to make sure that this matter is dealt with quite speedily.
Yeah, I mean, you've got analysts, obviously critics, saying that this is just the DA buying time and that this could have been a very easy decision. You know, what is your response to some of these critics?
Well, I mean, the DA is a party that believes in the rule of law. We're a party that believes in the rule of law. We believe in natural justice. We need to believe that we need to follow the country's labor rules. So we are making sure that this matter is dealt with properly, firstly within the party's rules, and then also within the rules of natural justice. Everyone is entitled to a fair hearing. Everyone's entitled to tell their side of the story. So we're making sure that we deal with this matter properly and make sure that it's dealt with within the rules of natural justice as well as the country's laws.
Yeah. Again, some people looking on and saying, but hang on a second, during this entire process, Helen Zille still remains the Premier of the Western Cape. Shouldn't those responsibilities of hers also be sort of set aside until she's found either innocent or guilty? Again, response to this?
Well, in terms of the party's rules, the only time in which a person is suspended is if that person is likely to interfere in the investigation or intimidate witnesses, and there's no likelihood of this happening in this case. So we're saying we'll let the party's processes continue and wait to see what that sanction is.
Yeah. All right, so she stays on in the role. The word from Helen Zille, obviously we saw her responding on Twitter, basically saying that she is going to abide by everything. Is that the official and formal response from her?
Well, that's what I've seen.
Okay, so it was just that tweet that she sent out. It almost feels like Twitter is getting people into a lot of problems. When you say that this was going against the social media policy of the DA, what is the policy when it comes to social media within the DA?
Well, I mean, all members of the party, especially our public representatives, are aware of our social media policy, which says that, which encourages our members to engage with members of the public, to engage with their constituents, to engage with the media, but do so with due care and not bring the party into disrepute and not, contradict the party's policies. So the rules are there, everyone knows them, and we really encourage everyone to engage, but do so and take responsibility while doing so.
Yeah. Just, I want to close up this issue because there's so many other issues we want to talk about. But during the conference yesterday, and I think it was Musi Maimane who said this isn't the Helen Zille he knows. What do you think? I mean, is this the Helen Zille you know? Is there a tinge of racism within Helen Zille?
I've known Helen Zille for a very long time. And I wouldn't say, she's someone that I considered racist, because I most certainly would not have worked with her. I don't want to go too much into this matter because, as you know, it's subject of a disciplinary inquiry. But most certainly the Helen that I've worked with, the Helen that I've known, is not someone that I'd consider racist, because I most certainly would not, have been a member of the Democratic Alliance, been a public representative if I thought the leader of the party was racist. But like I said, this matter is now subject of a disciplinary inquiry, and I don't, want to get into that debate.
We understand that the information is very sensitive at this stage. But Phumzile, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you just to sit tight for a little bit. We want to obviously close off this issue and talk more about this no confidence vote that the DA is now going for, and some of the events that have unfolded over the last week with the removal of the finance minister, the talk of a shutdown here in South Africa, and many, many other issues that have come out this weekend. Stay tuned. This interview will continue.